I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Mr. J.J. De Leon, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Mr. Ruben Herrera, Dr. Tony Zabaleta, Mrs. Eva Alejandro, Mrs. Delia Saenz, myself, and also present our President, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. And I'm going to call on Dr. Zabaleta for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Public comments? Qué bárbara. You're testing me. You're testing me. Let's see how the surgery. Chairwoman's report. We attended the ACCT National Legislative Summit in Washington, D.C. We had fun. But not only did we have fun, the summit brings together more than 1,000 community college leaders who receives updates on the federal and higher education policies, issues, and we also had the opportunity to meet with our Congress members and to advocate for the students in our communities. One thing that we keep hearing and we keep pressing is that the Pell Grant for workforce training and is beginning to make some noise. I hope that it does come true. But the President and I had done an extensive job of pushing it and lobbying for it. The Brownsville Chamber of Commerce had the Texas Stock Luncheon with Mr. Hager, Controller Hager. I've known Mr. Hager for a long, long time, very close friends to Mr. Aliceda, and we participated, heard him, Mr. Mesquias, you, myself, that's it, right? And Dr. Garcia. And he provided some insights on what's to come. The President, I didn't attend that. The President attended you went to the unveiling of at the airport.
Right.
I didn't go to that. But I did go to the tax assessor's office when they did the ribbon cutting, and so much needed. You know, I remember when we first moved to Southmost, when we opened our pharmacy to Southmost, and there were so many things needed at Southmost. And it's fun to watch that now that services are being brought to Southmost. But the funnest time I had was I was principal for a day. And I'd been principal for a day at a high school, but nothing beats the elementary. Oh, it was so amazing. The children did an interview and they went live, and to have those, I think it was like 6, 7 kids just be the guides, it's extraordinary. But it just makes you happy to know that these are our leaders. You know, we hear so much negative stuff, and then you see kids like this, that these are leaders, and it was a lot of information. AX Benavides is doing a great job. What an amazing principal, what an amazing team she's got. They also, and I was hoping they would come sing for us because they sang for me. And I'm probably gonna have them next board meeting, but since we changed, and I had said Thursday, so they were not ready, but I'll have them come and sing for you because it was quite a treat. And that's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees. I would like to bring my report by recognizing our marketing team for once again bringing home the gold from the Rio Grande Valley American Advertising Awards, better known as the Addy. Well, they actually earned 4 medals during the 2024 ceremony held February the 15th in McAllen. We won a gold medal for the Scorpion Soccer branding and campaigning in the category of online interactive advertising and promotion campaign.
And who was there? My grandchild.
She was? Oh, yeah. No, and we also won a silver medal for the collegiate kindergarten experience in the category of cross-platform online interactive campaign. We also won another silver medal for the collegiate kindergarten experience in the category of film, video, and sound television and advertisement. And we also won a bronze medal for the Every Graduate Has a Story in the category of film, video, sound, which is an internet commercial. So congratulations again to the marketing team and to all the faculty and staff across campus that helped develop this award-winning work. So thank you all. Now, service to our communities has always been an essential part of our mission at Texas Southmost College. This includes service to the higher education community. We have been an active member in the Texas Association of Community Colleges for the past several years, including participating on the committees that provided input on the design for the Texas new community college funding model, better known as House Bill 8. TSC will continue to have a seat at the table as TAC has invited me to serve on the Strategic Planning Subcommittee. This subcommittee will be responsible for developing a comprehensive 3 to 5 year strategic plan for the association at the state level. In addition, I have been invited to serve as a member of the Directorship Committee of the National Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. As a member of this committee, I will participate in the yearly nomination of candidates for the National Governing Board openings and the ongoing assessment of its needs and effectiveness. It is an honor to be invited to serve alongside our colleagues on these committees. I consider it a testament to the extraordinary results we have been able to achieve because of the exceptional leadership and support of our Board of Trustees, as well as the strong dedication from our faculty and staff. So thank you. We marked a major campus milestone with the ribbon cutting on the new Texas Southmost College Legal Center, held on January 25th. The concept for this legal center was conceived a few years ago as a laboratory space for our students interested in the justice studies. Our college has been a regional leader in preparing the next generation of criminal justice scholars, police officers, federal and state agents. Our faculty sought to create a cohesive space where students in the paralegal studies and the criminal justice programs could gain experience in a courtroom setting by putting theory they are learning into practice. We had a stellar team collaborating on this project, starting with our entire Board of Trustees, who then formed a subcommittee to support the project with immediate past Chair Herrera, Chair Garza, and Trustee Saenz serving on the subcommittee. Lead faculty members included Dr. Kevin O'Malley and retired U.S. Judge Felix Recio. In the end, this magnificent facility consists of a jury conference room, a 40-seat classroom, a 20-seat classroom, and a digital law library. Thank you to all of the members of the Board of Trustees for your leadership and support of this project. I also want to thank the members of our administration and key staff who helped bring this project to fruition.
And it was really amazing to see all that came to the ribbon cutting. Amazing. And I think a lot of that happened because Mr. Herrera wanted it so bad.
If I may give credit where credit is due, I believe that I forgot to thank and acknowledge the spark plug behind this project, which was Dr. Figueroa, who had her Mason spoon and her hat and everything and made sure that everything went as planned. So thank you, Dr. Figueroa, for being the spark plug behind that. I am just a simple man of simple means.
Well, over the past month, we signed 2 memorandums of understanding with university partners to expand higher education pathways for the communities we serve. First, we hosted Sam Houston State University on campus January 26. President Alicia White and her team enjoyed a tour of campus and learning more about our community. The agreement we signed provides a template for developing 2+2 programs for our students who chose to pursue a bachelor's degree. This provides the maximum transferability for the credits students earn at Texas Southmost College, as well as streamlined transfer admissions process. Thank you to Madam Chair, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, Trustee Alejandro, and Trustee Saenz for participating in the event.
I need to say something, because we were meeting with the president and administration, And she had the audacity to ask the president if he would want to go work with them. Offered him a job right there. And what did I say? This meeting is adjourned. You can leave.
Yeah. No, thank you. It was nice, but I had to tell my heart and my devotions to Texas Southmost College and to this board, so thank you for your support. But that was nice. It was good for the ego. Anyway, next, we signed an MOU with Texas A&M University Kingsville on February 12th. We hosted TMUC President Robert Vela and his team on campus, as well as several VIP guests, including State Senator Morgan Lamantilla. The agreement marks an expansion of our partnership with TMUC. Again, through this agreement, we will continue to build 2+2 programs which streamline credit transfer for our students who continue to earn a bachelor's degree. We will also continue to collaborate on raising awareness on these new partnerships and pathways and the opportunities to earn stackable credentials. Thank you to Madam Chair, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Alejandro, Immediate Past Chair Herrera, and Trustee Sines for participating in the event.
Secretary Alejandro.
No,
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
it's Ms. Alejandra.
Miss Alejandro. Apologize for that. Continuing with the theme of strengthening partnerships, last month I had the opportunity to meet with the 39th Leadership Brownsville class. During this session, exploring local education held on January 18. It is always rewarding to share all of the good news happening at Texas Southmost College with our local leaders. In turn, they become knowledgeable ambassadors of our work and great recruiters for the college. Our Division of Instruction worked to highlight our campus arts and culture to even more community members through events they presented over the past month. The faculty art exhibit featured phenomenal work by our faculty. The show was held on February 1st in the iTech Art Gallery. The exhibit was an excellent example of showing us art's great capacity for capturing human emotion and better understanding our world. Thank you to our faculty for organizing this event and to Vice Chair De Leon for your participation. Last week, our Communication and Language Department held the 22nd Annual Binational Literary Conference, which is free and open to the public. The event brings together published authors of fiction and poetry from the Rio Grande Valley, across South Texas, and from throughout Mexico. During the conference, the authors share their works, discuss the process of writing, and raise awareness for the importance of publishing and promoting Spanish language literature. This year's keynote speaker was Benjamin Valdivia, Director of Doctoral Program in the Appreciation of Art from the University of Guanajuato. Thank you to our faculty for organizing the event, and thank you, Madam Chair, for your participation.
Enjoyable.
Our Workforce Training Division graduated another class of patient care technicians last night. These graduates are fulfilling a need identified by our industry partners, building upon our Certified Nursing Assistant program to include instruction in administering EKGs and phlebotomy. Thank you to Vice Chair De Leon, Trustee Alejandro, and Trustee Sines for participating in the ceremony to celebrate our graduates. Now, the Student Service Division has been hard at work engaging our students to support them and build networks that will serve them well after graduation. The division has been out and about on campus for their Stop by Student Live events, where they are promoting information about student organizations, events, and volunteer opportunities. The Office of Career and Employment Services have hosted a number of employer connection events, as well as workshops to help students explore career pathways and develop resumes. The Office of Student Life kicked off the spring semester Student Leadership Academy. Students in the academy participate in a series of interactive workshops that enhances their leadership and team building skills as they network with like-minded students and engage in volunteer opportunities. Finally, they hosted a Valentine's Day event that included a club and resource fair, as well as a Valentine's Day card making station. Thank you to our hardworking student services team. And now it is time for this month's highlighted videos of the activities that have occurred since we last met. Can you please roll the video?
bonito.
Before I conclude my report, I'd like to introduce the newest member to our TSC family and part of the executive cabinet, our new Vice President of Student Development, Dr. David Plummer. Would you like to say a few words so the community can get to know you? Yeah.
And then the dance afterwards.
Then the dance afterwards? I can do that. Started, Madam Chair, Board Trustees, President Rodriguez, just really great to be here. I come with quite a few years, I don't want to say how many, but quite a few years of community college experience, both here in South Texas. I was at South Texas College. I was in New Mexico at Mesalands Community College. Also come with military experience, over 20 years in the military between active duty, National Guard, all those kind of things, and some corporate experience in a Fortune 50 company. And just really have enjoyed, I think, getting to know first President Rodriguez. We met quite a few times. I didn't take the job lightly. I tell people South Texas College is a good college, had a good position, enjoyed it there, but when the opportunity came, and I did check on you all as well. I asked people, how are the board? How's the president? What's going on down there? Luckily, I work with a lot of the same folks that you work with. We just met with Educate Texas, which is region-wide. I work with, some of the VPs at UTRGV, some of the same organizations that cover the Valley, and asked what's going on at Texas Southmost College, and heard, really good things. Here's the stuff that's going on. Board very involved. Board cares. Board's very supportive. President Rodriguez is on the right track, and I talked to Dr. Escamilla and some other folks too. So just really heard really great things. I said, look, this is something I want to be part of. There's some things I wanted to do, and when I got to meet with President Rodriguez and the executive team, they were saying the same things that I was saying and what I wanted to hear, and where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do, what you want to do for the folks in the RGV. I'm from McAllen. I'm from the Valley. So when the position came up, I actually had job offers out of the state, but my wife didn't want to move again. She'd been with me since we've been in the Army. And so when the position came up, it was great. It was serendipity. This is what I wanted to do, the things I wanted to do in an area I wanted to do, close to home. So again, just great to be here. Glad to be part of the team. Already doing good things with the vision of the board and the president, and just with a great team. Again, they come up with great ideas. He comes up with great ideas. I don't think it matters whose idea it is. If it's a great idea, we're going to do it, and that's what I like to be a part of. So again, really appreciate your efforts and your support, and looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And thank you for thank you for saying yes to Texas Southmost College. And I can tell you, the sun always shines on Texas Southmost College.
Yes.
He likes to fish other people's ponds.
I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for the continued support of our college and the communities that we serve. I also want to thank the faculty and staff for providing a very strong start to a spring 24 semester. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As I sit here, every time I sit here and have a board meeting, I get to look at you all. And all I see is the hopes, the face of we can do this, and it just energizes me to no end. So to have you, Dr. Plummer, say yes to us, I hope that you see that this is a family, and everybody works together. And I think that's why we've been able to move forward. And I can see the difference because I've been here for a long, long time, sir. But to where we started, and once President Rodriguez came in, we've been able to tell the difference. And I'm glad you're on board. And everybody else too. Thank you. Item number 6.
Yes.
Consideration and possible action on the minutes of the following meetings. Regular meeting, January 18, 2024. Motion?
I
I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Finance Committee, Mr. Herrera.
Finance Committee met on Monday, February 12, 2024. Present were Secretary Alderete, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items: consideration and possible action on approval of a contract for election service for the Cameron County Elections Department for a general election to be held on Saturday, May 4th, 2024. And I will call on Mr. Peña if there is any questions on this, to give us.
No, sir, I've reviewed it, I've gone over it with Dr. Garcia. It basically mirrors the last one that we had, and the only difference is the cost, which we bear as proportionate to whoever else is having elections during the May election day.
So I'll open up the questions by proposing a motion to move to approve the contract with Cameron County Elections Department for election services and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract.
I second that.
A motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7B, consideration possible action on approval of budget amendment 24-001 to recognize tuition and fee revenue. Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before, for your consideration, you have a budget amendment for $1,200,000. This is excess tuition revenue we receive between fall and spring semesters. The proposal is to use $700,000 of it for IT infrastructure and the other $500,000 for adjuncts. The majority or all of the money came from tuition, so we're going to be needing more support for adjuncts and IT infrastructure.
I move to approve the budget amendment 24-001 for fiscal year 2024 as presented.
A motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Didn't we discuss this to fix the water tower? Item 7C, first quarter investment report for fiscal year 2024. Dr. Figueroa.
Took it off.
Thank you, sir. With your permission, I'll have Mr. Pacero present the.
Yes, Mr. Pacero, he's keeping your seat warm.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have for you the first quarter investment report. The format of the report has detail for the different types of investments that are included, whether it's an investment product at a bank or with a public funds investment pool or a certificate of deposit. All the detail runs through the report, but it is summarized for each quarter's activity up at the top here in this table. So I'll mainly concentrate my very brief presentation on this first quarter column. And as we can see here, we have current funds, loan funds, endowment, plant funds, and agency funds in these respective amounts: 86 million, 105,000, 3.5 million, 13.7, and 11,000. What we currently have invested at the end of November 30th is 103 million. And the detail for each earning product can be found at the end here, and that is summarized again at the table, 849,000 for that 3-month period. Again, the remaining report has the detail for all of those different products. The report itself is required by the Public Funds Investment Act, and each quarter we're required to prepare the report in that prescribed format and present it to the board. So we're doing that now to be in compliance with that act. The remaining schedules on the report have the current listing of certificate of deposit that we have invested. So the amounts can be found on the right-hand column. The bank where they're invested can be found here in this middle column. The following slide has a list of the CDs that have matured already and the respective amount of interest that has been earned from that product. So you can see the board allowed us to start investing back in 2019 with this process. And this slide used to span just one slide. But now we have so much activity on it that we've had to add another slide. And as we can see here, we have a recap of the amount of interest that has been earned back from 2019 through today's date. And thanks to the vision of the board, to the decisions that management has made, we can produce and display the part of those efforts here for you today. With this last slide, I'll conclude my presentation. It's a listing of the banks that we contact when we solicit the new CD inquiries. Those are all the banks that we'll reach out to. We try and keep it fair, and we try and reach out to everyone to ensure that everybody gets a fair shake. With that, if there's any questions, I'd like to try and answer them.
This is an item for information only. No action is required. We have made $2.9 million since 2019 by investing wisely and listening to our advisors. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing us to do that.
Any questions from anyone? Any words of praise?
Mr. Herrera, you've come a long way. I remember that discussion. We were not to invest. We wanted to have the money safe.
It is safe. It's in CDs. This is the safest money. This is a fruition of my battles with everyone. Due to the law, we cannot invest any funds in anything that is not a CD. But the problem is, where do you find the best interest rates? And that's where they come in.
That's where advisors come in.
We have a company, no?
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Mr. Pesero. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for this $2.8 million for the water tower. Next item on the agenda is 7D, monthly financial statement report for month ended December 31st, 2023.
Mr. Herrera, with your permission, I'll have Mr. Pesaro present the monthly.
Again, he's
On a roll.
earning the job.
Fire today, yes. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I'll present for you now the monthly budget to actual report for the month of December. The format of the report is similar to the presentations that we have done in the past, where it has the activity that's occurring on the left-hand column, and we have columns for budget numbers, actuals for the month, and actuals for year-to-date. I'll mainly concentrate my presentation on this column here, the December column. So I'll begin with one of three funds that we adopt a budget for, which is the Education and General Fund. This first slide has the revenue number for the month of December in General Fund, which is 15.2 million. We move on to the expenditures category. In General Fund, we have two subtotals, 1.8 million and 482,000, and that's for salaries and wages and benefits. On this slide, we have the M&O category, and this category will go through one slide and conclude here. The subtotal for that category is 1 million. The slide still in Educational and General Fund, we have subtotals for travel, 18,000, and for General Institutional, which is 49,000. And the last slide for Education and General Fund expenditures. And I'll highlight the total for the month, which is 4 million. So that's revenue and expenditures for Education and General Fund. The second of the three funds is auxiliary. On this slide, we have revenue of 133 $1,000 for the month of December. We move on to expenditures. We have two subtotals, $32,000 salaries and wages, $9,000 for benefits. We have our M&O category, which concludes here on this slide, $57,000 for auxiliary in December. And then the last slide for auxiliary fund, $319,000 in expenditures as a whole for the month of December. So that's revenue and expenditures for the auxiliary fund. And the last fund I'll cover, the general obligation and revenue bonds. $1.2 million in revenue, and there are no expenditures in the month of December for this fund type. The following slides are detail for the health benefits. We have the detail for general fund here, $814,000, and for auxiliary fund, $16,000. We have a fund balance recap. Our number here at the top, the $34 million, that agrees to the audited financial statements. And the number here at the bottom is our estimate at December 31st. Moving on to the last section of the slides, these are the debt service tables. So that gives the reader an idea of what our future bond payments will be. There's no change to these tables since the last time that we presented them. So with that, I'll go ahead and conclude my presentation. If there's any questions, I'd like to try and answer those.
Thank you so much. This item is for information only, no action is required. Any questions from the board? Thank you so very much. Item 7E, Fund Balance Operations Report. I'll call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you have the fund balance operating report, this report again ties back to the audited financial statement that Mr. Pesaro just mentioned earlier, and it tells us how many days of operation we were to have if the college will not receive any revenue going, and it's 195 days.
You have like 30 days additional to spend?
20.
For the water tower. I'm kidding.
I mean, it's like 4 mil, for 3 or 4.
For what?
But not all gonna go to the water tower, that's only one.
No water tower. They're tearing it down.
They are?
Thank you so very much. You know, it is a very grim number. We have too much. We need to fix the water tower. Now we have too much.
Let me ask you a question, if I may. Does the money that was gained, that you reported a minute ago through, does it go into the fund balance?
The
The 1 million?
1.2 million?
Yes.
No, that was the budget amendment that was approved
Budget amendment.
earlier. It will go into IT and adjunct,
Into where?
adjuncts. Adjunct pay.
And have we
Adjunct.
discussed that and approved that?
Yes,
We have?
yes.
We asked any questions. Today.
Thank you so very much. This is a big 195.
Dr. Figueroa, I just want to say that normally it's a 3-month balance that keeps the household going and business going. In our case, we have 6.5 months.
ma'am.
So that is truly, truly great. And thank you for everything you do in this monetary matters.
It's the management of the Board of Trustees of those funds, right? You have been giving that fiduciary responsibility, and it shows with over 6 months of fund balance in the rainy day fund.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Are you done?
Here's my report.
No, you still need F.
Grants?
Grants
I'm so
update.
excited. And I just can't hide it. Grants update.
Grants escape your mind.
I'm about to lose control and
7F.
7F, grants update.
Madam Chair, members of the board, during the month of January, the college received one grant in the amount of $249,570. That's a true grant, Texas Reskilling and Upskilling Through Education.
That's all?
That's all, ma'am, yes.
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What There was one about a grant that said for childcare. Am I right?
Yes.
What is that?
It was a past grant that we had. Basically, our childcare program was receiving some funds to do improvement based on the number of children and the expenses that we had. But it already ended in November.
This one, yeah.
The next slides that you have in your packet are the grants that we've received throughout the year. It's a cumulative balance of what's been received since September. And that childcare grant, it's here, but it actually, we already finalized it.
Thank you so much. That concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Item number 8, Facilities Committee.
Yes.
I'll call on Ms. Aldrete.
The Facilities Committee met via Zoom on Thursday, February 15, 2024. Present were Trustee Zabaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Admin and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item. 8A, Facilities Update. Dr. Stella?
Thank you, Secretary Aldrete. Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez, with your permission, I'm going to call on Mr. Gerardo Mascoro to give you an update. I do want to note, though, that there are some new photos that you'll see. They're as of yesterday, so you will see actually progress through yesterday.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, President Rodriguez. I'm here presenting the advance of the construction works of the dedicated chiller plant for the rec center and daycare number 2. Okay. The work in progress, they already finished with the trenching and for high voltage conduit, Siemens signal, and domestic water. Also, they completed the termite control application, and the brick masonry sample wall was in progress. Our milestones still expecting the chiller equipment to be delivered by August of this year. And the estimated completion date is still for December of this year. So we are pretty good. Here are some of the images of the excavation and repair of the foundation for this plant, and also showing the material for the electrical works, all the conduit. Here are another pictures of the excavation and the rebar. Same. I'm sorry, here's some aerial pictures taken last week before they poured the concrete. And here's the slab with the concrete already. Here's how it looks like right now. See those pads in the center of the slab is where the chillers are going to be installed. And you can see the conduit already being installed in the trench. Some more pictures of the same.
It looks real small.
No, it's huge.
That's been a massive job.
Oh, yeah. It is nice.
And we're still a long ways, right? We still need
Oh,
to
yeah.
receive the chillers.
And here is the last, I think that's the last picture. This was taken yesterday.
Okay, very nice.
And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mascoro.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Mascoro. This item is for information only. No action is required. This concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item number 9, Academics Committee.
Item number 9 is the Academic Committee, which met on February 12th. President were Trustee Sines, Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the administration and legal counsel. Item number 9A, consideration of possible action to approve a renewal affiliation agreement with Knapp Medical Center for Diagnostic Medical Sonography and Radiology Technology Program. And I so move we approve.
Okay, I have did you want,
Excuse me?
I have a motion by you,
Yeah, I moved that.
a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Alejandro. Any discussion? Do we have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9B, consideration and possible action to approve an affiliation agreement with Palm Behavioral Health and Associate Degree Nursing and Vocational Nursing Programs. And I move that we approve this and have President Rodriguez sign the agreement.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9C, consideration and possible approval on the action on the approval of a new structural welding certificate of proficiency level 1 and welding certificate of proficiency level 2 with initial implementation to be in the spring of 2025. And I so move it be approved.
I second that.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9D, consideration and possible action on approval of matching grant support for year 2 of the AmeriCorps Texas operational grant. And I so move it be approved.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta. Second by Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9E, consideration and possible action on approval of matching grant support for the Texas Workforce Commission's Jobs and Education for Texans grant program. And I so move it be approved.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion?
Second by Ms. Alejandro.
Ms. Alejandro? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And finally, item number 9F, consideration and possible action to approve an amended clinical affiliation agreement with Valley Regional Medical Center to include the proposed non-credited phlebotomy program. And I so move it be approved.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zavaleta. That was fast. Thank you. Item number 10, Student Services.
The Student Service Committee met on Monday, February 12th. Present were Trustee Alejandro, Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following: the Scorpion Opportunity Hub update. Dr. Plummer, will you please present?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair, Board Trustees, President Rodriguez. So Scorpion Opportunity Hub, and when I came to the committee meeting, I had gotten a little bit of it, and I know, Madam Chair, I'm not new anymore. But now that I've been here a little bit more time, I've actually met with Mr. Rodriguez and gone through the area a little bit more. And just to let you know, very interesting concept. As you know, I came from South Texas College. They don't have anything like this. So I just want to thank Mr. Rodriguez and the team coming up with this concept, developing this pilot, developing all these relationships and getting it to where it is now. And I know we all want it to grow. And I think now, after talking to him and going through it, you're at the cusp of really growing something new and great. So with your permission, I'd like to, Mr. Rodriguez to present and tell you where they're at and where they're going.
Thank you, Dr. Plummer, for your introduction. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees members, and Dr. Rodriguez, my presentation today serves as an update to a previous presentation which took place in April of 2023. Our first slide discusses the background. The Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment is a document, if you will, that's required by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board roughly every 2 years. Between 2020 and current time, several activities have taken place. And I'd like to point out, as Dr. Plummer mentioned a little while ago, regarding the concept of the Scorpion Opportunity Hub. During 2022, between 2020 and 2022, basically the concept was designed by TSC leadership and staff. We have worked arduously to develop that concept. Yours truly was hired approximately a year ago in February of 2023 to work with the Scorpion Opportunity Hub to help move it forward to better serve our students. In this last year or so, we have worked hard to develop relationships with community-based organizations, otherwise known as CBOs, also with other community partnerships, and also to collaborate with TSC departments and offices so that we can work collectively as a united team, again, to provide essential needs for our students so that they can be very successful and move on with their academic and professional lives. Moving forward, in April, we will have concluded our first year of operations, and we are already meeting with different departments and CBOs. We will have another vetting process for incoming CBOs later this spring so that they could join us in the summer and the fall. And although I'll discuss numbers in a couple of slides, our goal for this year 2, which really begins April coming up, is to double our numbers of students that have accessed our CBO currently. The target resources that you can see on the slide are basic needs, and these are needs which have come as a result of the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment. As collectively, again, numerous community-based organizations, TSC leadership, staff, and other individuals worked through different meetings, different workshops, and these are the needs that came to the top as far as what students need most to become successful. Approximately a year ago, we had about 3 CBOs. As you can see, in less than a year, we've now risen to approximately 16 community-based organizations, which are helping our students with essential needs. These are wraparound services, which are to complement what TSC departments and offices already provide. This particular slide discusses Scorpion Opportunity Hub. You can see our website, our landing page, which is on the TSC website. You can see Ms. Daniela Canales, who is our Perkins program manager, myself. We also have a weekly calendar that's accessible so that students can see what days, what times, what office locations at the Leitner Hub that they're available. And as well, at the very bottom on your left-hand side, you can see the link where all this information comes up. Discussing again how we're moving forward this next month and our second year of operations, we are essentially taking the hub, if you will, to the students. We are, again, partnering up with various TSC departments, Student Life, the Rec Center. We're inviting all our CBOs to engage, have pop-up tables there. So again, that way we can accommodate every student that needs the services. You know, it's not just like, well, come visit the hub. You know, the hub comes to you as well. This particular slide shows we're collecting data as students come to the hub and seek services, and students from across the spectrum of the various TSC programs, they have accessed hub services. So we're very happy about that because it's not just one program or, one field. It's really across the board. This slide provides information on that data. Between March of 2023 and November of 2023, and these are categorized in this form because that's our reporting schedule. For further updates, we will provide that information in a more succinct manner. But approximately 141 students came to the hub at the Leitner Center to seek services. Again, moving forward, we're already working on doubling those numbers to approximately 400 students.
When do you think we'll hit that target population that that you want to service, the 400?
I feel very confidently about reaching that target next spring before the April 2025 mark.
1 year, you've done how many?
141.
I'm sorry?
In the past year, up to date, how many have you serviced?
So between March of 2023 and November, we have about 141. We didn't provide the data for up to the end of February because this is our next or current reporting cycle, but we are probably close to 200 by now. Yes, ma'am.
During March to May, it says that students were seeking services. It doesn't say that you served students. So therefore, in reality, you only served 100 students.
My apologies, ma'am. That's a typo. That should have said served.
Okay.
My apologies for that.
The other question that I had was how do we plan to service students that are coming in the evening?
So we are working on that as well. We are actually, although it falls under student life, with a food pantry, we're providing food pantry services to students in the CGAI program, which are at iTech Center. And so we are doing study and talking to the students and to seeing what the need is so that we can provide those services after the regular 8 to 5.
Let me ask you this. What's your budget? What's your department's budget to provide these services?
Actually, sir, I'm grant funded. I was hired.
There's still a budget.
I'm sorry?
There's still a budget. What's the budget? The grant budget?
The grant was about 500,000.
Okay.
And that pays for myself, for tutors, for instructional supplies, faculty stipends.
So I have a question too. Go ahead, Mr. Herrera.
How long is your grant?
So my grant ends in August.
This August?
Madam Chair. Let's have the expert on grants.
Hello, Madam Chair, TSC Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez.
Right.
This is a Perkins P-UP grant. It is a 2-year grant. It will end in August 31st, 2024, but we already have another grant, another 2-year grant that we are on the first year, so it will extend it another year.
Okay. Which is fine, but my problem is with $500,000 and 200 students, what are we doing?
So
Hold on.
Yes.
How are we going to bring students to take advantage of these resources? Because according to the report, according to what you're presenting, we have not done anything.
So this is just one aspect of what the P-UP grant did. The 141 students are just being served by the hub. We could put together a report of all the students that have been impacted. They have been impacted in different ways. So instructional supplies, equipment, faculty, that number is way larger than just this 141. This is just one aspect of it.
Don't scare us. Why don't you present the whole thing?
But you know how that he talked about the organizations that provide these kind of services?
Yes.
But he doesn't say like which organization has serviced these many students versus just saying that these organizations service students, but we don't know like communities in schools, or Somos, or Zucnica, how many of them have actually been servicing our students? We don't know.
We collect that information. I'm sure Dr. Garcia and the team and Mr. Rodriguez can present that, but we do collect all that information.
So let's talk to Dr. Rodriguez and have a seat.
Thank
And then
you.
the other question that I have is, how about, you know how you say that the students reach out to this hub, but why are we not doing it like in the classroom? Where maybe at the beginning of the class, that we are able to touch every student.
We do. They do class visits. So the student workers go into the class to talk about the services.
And the numbers are still that low?
These are just the students who actually received an actual service, not for outreach purposes.
Can we have a detailed presentation worth $500,000 by next board meeting, please?
Do you want it presented or do you want it written?
Oh,
What do you
written
mean,
and
like, to see
presented. I mean,
numbers?
just pretend you're gonna sell to us and we haven't funded it. Because if we're drawing monies and we're not providing the service, I don't think we should be drawing monies.
I don't think that's happening, though.
Well, I want to know because from what I'm seeing, that's what is happening.
Yes, of course, sir.
Thank you.
I did like the idea when you said that you're going to take the hub to the students. Okay, that's a very good start because if you wait for them to come, some are busy, school, working, other things, and they won't make the time. So if the hub is going to the kids, then hopefully that will also bring up the numbers.
I am going to give them credit that they do showcase on social media when they're going to be passing out food, like they have the food bank and they're going to be passing out bags. So
That's one area.
that's one area that I've seen.
If I may, this is a concept that even the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, we didn't have a standard operating procedures book. And here you go, this is how it runs, this is how it should run. Through leadership and other staff members who helped develop this, they have this is a brilliant concept. Like everything else, it takes time.
And money.
And money.
And just tweaking it, Mr. Rodriguez, if we tweak it, where we actually get the data that we're want to be presented, I mean, they'll work. We
Yes.
just, like you say, it's starting, it's the first year. You started in February.
Right. And Mr. De Leon, I can actually tell you, without looking at the data right now, the biggest needs are financial assistance to attend school. Yes, many of our students do get financial aid, but with the economy the way it is, they need a little extra money. Also for physical and mental wellness services. Those are the three top draws, if you will. But certainly we can provide that presentation.
Thank you.
I have another question on
Yeah.
the weekly calendar. How is this presented to the students? How is it available?
Ma'am, this calendar is on our Scorpion Opportunity Landing page, which is on our TSC website. And actually, if I may, these are pictures. The middle picture, that is I was invited by one of the accounting faculty members about 2 weeks ago to present to her accounting class after hours. The lady presenting is Ms. Dulce Ramos. She is a licensed clinical counselor with a recovery center of Cameron County, which is one of our new CBOs. And so Daniela Canales, myself, we've done numerous classroom presentations in the morning, in the evening. We've attended all the orientations beginning May of last year. We're going out to the iTech. We're doing different things. We're learning as we're growing, but we feel very confident that, it is gaining momentum. We're reaching out to all the students as best as we possibly can. We have 3,000 students, more or less, which are not dual enrollment students. It's going to take a little time to reach all 3,000 students. But our multimedia department works very closely with us. with the different departments. We're going to be out at the rec center on Fridays when there's tournaments. We're going out there.
Do we send emails to the students by any chance?
Yes, 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 sir.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. All right, go.
What is a Whoop Connect?
Yeah.
So the Whoop Connect is a.
That's fun, but.
Yes, right. Ma'am, the Whoop Connect is a service. It's connected with a federal affordable connectivity program, and it provides free tablets and free cell phones to students who receive FAFSA, Pell Grants, or receive other type of government assistance. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rodriguez, appreciate the good work you're doing, and I think in the next session, let's work together, Dr. Plummer, and present more the holistic impact that the CBOs in this hub is doing.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, and thank you all for your unwavering support.
Thank you. Our famous question is, who's selling this? And how are we selling this?
This item is for information only, no action is required. Next item, 10B, TSC Scorpion Athletics NJCAA Spring Update. I call on Dr. Plummer and Dr. Ponce to present.
Yes, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez, another great area. And as I get here, I've actually been able to spend some time with Dr. Ponce. Actually met some of the really great young men and women on the team. I just want to say I think Dr. Ponce and his team have done a great job of getting quality players from the RGV, and just really great young women and women. I got to spend time with them at the soccer tournament that they held, and he's been very busy. There's a couple of letters of intent, and I'm sure I'll talk about some of the new crop of students coming in. So with your permission, I'd like to have Dr. Ponce give you an update.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Plummer. Madam Chair, members of the board, I'd like to provide an update. I know it's been a while, so I want to kind of bring everybody up to speed of kind of where the athletic program is at. So as you know, we concluded our season this past fall. First and foremost, I want to thank the board for their support in allowing us to kick off the program. And I'm very happy and very proud to say that, we finished 7th in our conference out of 9 teams. When everybody in our conference didn't think we'd win one game, we beat the new kid in town. And as they told me, you can't win without any international students. I'm glad they were able to prove them wrong. So our women's team finished with a 2-9 record, and the men's team finished with a 3-9 record. And as I mentioned, they both finished 7th in the conference. And of course, we're definitely excited about the upcoming year. Since then, we've been pretty busy, getting prepared for this spring and for next season. And on December 2nd, we held a soccer ID camp. This is open to students, both men and women, from 9th to 12th grade. We had a good turnout, and when students come out, it kind of helps us identify potential recruits. It also provides them with skills training as well, so they kind of come and learn some of the techniques that we teach at the college level. And again, it was a successful event. We actually had a young lady that attended that we ended up signing this spring. On January the 4th, we had open tryouts. These were for students who are either currently enrolled, who are high school graduates, or were college transfers. Again, I'm very happy to report that it was successful. We did have some young men that came in that were able to transfer in, and some 2 young ladies that came in as well that we identified at this tryout that also are now a part of the team. I want to also take some time to recognize some of our student athletes that were recognized at the region level. And again, we're very proud of these accomplishments, especially considering that usually the all region teams consist of teams who finished 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. We were still recognized. We had Ms. Kenya Quinones from Lopez High School, who was recognized as honorable mention our region. She was very happy, very elated when she got the award. Second team, our region, we had Luis Garza, who's from Jubilee. And again, tremendous young man, tremendous young woman. And again, very pleasantly surprised that they're recognized for their efforts. And we also had Raul Lopez, our goalkeeper, who was recognized as honorable mention our region as well. I'm very happy also to report that Mr. Lopez was actually, the day that we announced that we're bringing athletics, he sent me an email that evening that he wanted to transfer. He was at a college in Kansas.
Wow.
And I was able to petition the NJCAA to try to grant him another year of eligibility. And he is going to be with us another year, so very happy we have him for another year. Also want to identify some of our Scorpion stars in the classroom. We're happy to report that we had 4 students that had a 4.0 GPA. I'm also nominating 2 students for the academic all-region team as well. I was also appointed academic chair for the region, which the responsibility will be to organize and distribute all the academic all-region teams across our region as well. So I'll be serving that capacity for Region 14. Academic progress, out of the 27 ladies that we had 24 that came back. 1 graduate, 1 transfer, and 1 decided to not enroll for this semester. We have, for the fall, the overall team GPA of 2.5. And as I mentioned, we added 2 transfer students. So very happy with them. They're tremendous young women that have already added a little bit of experience and some leadership to the team. For the men, we retained 28 out of 30. Again, we had 1 that decided to sit out, and then we also had 1 that joined the Marines. So we wish him well. And for the fall over team GPA of 2.23. We also added, as I mentioned before, we added 5 transfer students. Now we continue to obviously focus on improving the students' academic progress, not only so they can be eligible, so they can continue matriculating towards credential.
What's the cutoff GPA for them to participate in
2.0.
2.0?
Yeah, every student must have a 2.0 and must be enrolled full-time. Yeah. Again, recruitment is underway. Every Tuesday night and Friday night, me and Coach are out at the high schools looking at the crop of new recruits. It's been very successful so far. We've currently signed 4 athletes. 1 I'm hoping will sign tonight. And we have several other that are right now kind of in the pipeline, just trying to close the deal on those. We did have a campus visit where we had student athletes visit last Thursday, and it went very well. Some of those athletes that visited, we just recently signed this week. We're also doing our spring season, which actually starts on Saturday. We have up to 6 dates that we can play. So Saturday will be our first game, and I'll go over the schedule right now. And we're also doing our off-season strength and conditioning program. So the kids are working really hard, throughout the week. And again, taking the experience that they got from the fall semester, and now we're putting them through a specific strength and conditioning program, to continue to develop them as student athletes. Here is the schedule of the spring games. As you see, we are playing, with the exception of FC Brownsville, which is the local club team. We're playing all universities. This is very common. Universities kind of reach out to us to scrimmage because they want to recruit our athletes. So again, like I mentioned, we're playing University of Houston, Victoria. And of course, we'll be playing Texas A&M International out of Laredo away, both men and women. We're also going to be scrimmaging UTRGV, Texas A&M San Antonio, and Huston-Tilston out of Austin. So that concludes my presentation. I'm open to any questions you may have.
No questions. This item is for information only, and that concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Item 11, Policy Committee. Mr. Leon?
policy committee met on Wednesday, February 14, 2024. President were immediate past Chair Herrera, Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, college, and board legal counsel. The committee discussed the following item: 11A, annual review of CAK local appropriations of revenues, resources, investment. And I will call on Mr. Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez. Before you, you have a non-action item. It's CAK local. The statute 2256.005 of the Government Code requires that on an annual basis, the board review this particular investment policy. And you'll see that requirement on the bottom of page 6 of your packet. It says the board shall review this investment policy and investment strategies not less than annually, and shall document the review in writing, which shall include whether the changes were made to either the investment policy or investment strategies. The minutes of your meeting, when you review this and have your administration discuss it, if you have any questions, that will constitute the written requirement. So there are no changes or amendments to the policy recommended by either administration, legal, or TASB.
So I make a motion to acknowledge the annual review of the CAK local appropriations and revenue resources investment policy.
Motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Ms. Sines. Any discussion?
Yes, we went through this policies thoroughly. We got many questions answered, and I think this is a good review of this policy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
11B, consideration and possible action on the following local policies: DEC, EBA, ECC, FFDA, FLB, and GCB. And I'll ask Mr. Perez to go one by one.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Trustees, and President Rodriguez. You have 6 local policies in front of you. Each one has some very slight changes, not very significant. We'll start off with DEC, local compensation and benefits, leaves of absences. This particular policy, the change is a local choice by the college, and you'll see it on the bottom of page 4 of 7 of the policy, line of duty, illness, or injury. It applies to emergency medical services personnel, which caused some very good discussion in the meeting, but emergency personnel in the line of duty, we're talking about actual emergency personnel, people who actually run the ambulances, operate the ambulances and stuff like that. We're not really talking about nurses, as I understand it. And the policy says that, or the statute allows you various options on how you want to deal with these types of injuries and the benefits supplied or provided to the people who are injured. And the policy that you've chosen is following a leave of absence with full pay, which is required by the statute up to about a year. The district shall not extend the leave of absence for an emergency medical services personnel's line of duty illness or injury. But in accordance with law, an eligible employee may use accumulated leave. So they still can get their benefits depending on their circumstances, but you've chosen that particular one. That's the recommendation that's going to the board today.
Is it correct that we have no emergency medical personnel currently working for TSC?
At this time, that's correct.
So this is moot, basically.
It can apply in the future, but it does not apply to you all right now.
Thank you.
The next policy is EBA local, alternate methods of instruction, distance learning. You'll see that there's a one-page document, and really all it does is rename the coordinating board's regulations and guidelines, which used to be called Principles of Good Practices for Academic Degree and Certificate Programs and Credit Courses Offered Electronically. They take out all of that and say it's now called Principles of Good Practice for distance learning. And it brings your local policy in line with the wording of the coordinating board policies. ECC local, course load or arrangements, instructional arrangements, course load, and schedules. Students are allowed to drop certain number of courses during their stay here. This particular policy prohibits the college from counting some of those courses as dropped under certain circumstances. I understand that the policy was brought about because of COVID and things like that, but you'll see on page 2 of 2, at the middle of the top of the page there, a course dropped by a student while pursuing a bachelor's degree that the student ultimately earned may not be counted towards the limit on the number of dropped courses, and there's like language for dual credit and dual enrollment courses. And that's the only change that's in this particular policy. The next policy we have is FFDA local, freedom from discrimination, harassment, retaliation, sex and sexual violence. There are two basic changes here. Number one is on the first page of 13 at the very, very top. It's on the note. And what you'll notice is just a note from TASB that wants to bring about or to emphasize that this policy includes FAA legal, okay, and FA legal, which deals with or addresses pregnant and parenting students. So this whole policy also includes those two categories of students. The other significant change would be that Alicia Magallanes on page 5 of 13 is the Title IX coordinator, and I understand that Judge Recio will be a consultant to the board on this particular issue. The rest...
We need to discuss what it was that Judge Recio wanted to do. Remember, we left this up in the air, Chair?
Yes.
So what did,
Inspired, how did we get Alicia Magallanes?
yeah, where is the president?
I believe at the committee level that your staff was instructed to find out exactly who it was going to be because Judge Recio was here, and there was a question whether he was going to remain as the...
Let's wait for the president, because whatever we do here is going to have a long-lasting impact.
I apologize.
And when we were discussing this, we were not clear on who was going to do this, and they were going to talk to Judge Recio, and I don't know where we're at, so I want to make sure.
Do you know? Why not you?
Mr. Herrera, so Ms. Magallanes is currently our Title IX coordinator. She is in our website. This changes just to update the policy to the rest of it. She does have the background, and she's done the trainings to be up to date. Judge Recio advises us, and he is a co-coordinator, and he is part of the Title IX team, but the official Title IX coordinator is Ms. Magallanes.
The question, Mr. President, was, last time we were in the committee meeting, we weren't sure of who was going to be the Title IX coordinator. Was it Judge Recio or Ms. Magallanes? And the administration was going to talk to Judge Recio and figure out how we're going to handle this. And we're here right now, and we want to know exactly what and who is what.
This way.
This one. Michael, Mr. Vega, did you follow up with the judge?
I spoke to the judge shortly after the meeting, and his recommendation was to put Ms. Magallanes as the coordinator.
And then so what's going to be his role?
It's just advisor.
That's correct.
Advisor.
Okay, so we don't need to have him listed?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I'm fine, Mr. Herrera.
Perfect. No, I mean, we just need to clarify this because it was up in the air.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. FLB local, student rights and responsibilities, student conduct. If you look on page 4 of 5 of that particular policy, at the bottom of the page, number 6, it's just a slight change. It says, instead of using the words email and websites, that phrase is changed to electronic means, and that's just so that you don't have to keep changing your policy to include the various types of rapidly emerging technologies that come up seems like every day. That's the only change to that. Now, GCB Local Public Information Program, Request for Information, there is one basic change, and that's on page 1 of 1. And basically, it allows the college president to designate up to 10 non-business days each calendar year for the college to respond to Public Information Act requests. That would be in addition to those days included in the Public Information Act, which you are already entitled to.
Any questions? I move to approve the policy revision as presented for the following policies: DEC, EBA, ECC, FFDA, FLB, and GCB.
Motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Ms. Aldrete.
No, Alejandro.
Alejandro, I'm sorry. Mr. Alejandro. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion carries. Item number 12. Mr. Herrera, I'm going to call on you for the audit committee. You want to update us?
The audit committee met on Tuesday, January 30th. And we were presented we'd asked Dr. Garcia to present some options that we might utilize to figure out what we wanted to do in case we wanted to audit a program, a budget, a grant. And we were provided with two options, and I will read the first one out. The first option is provided that we hire someone in-house, and we were given the pros and the cons of that concept. The second option was to contract a vendor to do the scope of work that we require, and this would be through an RFP, and the areas that might be included in this would be training, external review, personnel turnover, segregation of duties, policies and procedures, past monitoring findings, experiences of management, fiscal program reporting, protection, integrity of automated systems, budget, staff experience, contingency plan, internal controls, internal monitoring, source of funding, performance measures, independent audit report, and structure of transactions. Now, this second option gives us the option of hiring a independent contractor to come and say, you know what, we need to audit this program, we need to audit that grant, we need to see what is going on here. And it is way less expensive than hiring someone, and they would work exclusively on that area that we want to focus on. They would report to the board. That is the better option that the committee found, and therefore we're making that recommendation. This is up to the board. It's either option 1 or option 2.
Mr. Herrera, I have a question.
Yes.
So the committee was composed of whom, what people?
With what?
Who was the committee composed of?
The committee was composed of you, Chair Garza, and myself, and
No, there was you, Ms. Science, and myself.
Right.
So these options were discussed when? In the last meeting, then neither of two of the committee members were there, right?
Well, let me give you the full report, Mr. Williams, since you're asking for it. The committee met.
We met twice, I think, right?
Well, you were there too, except you ran out very upset.
No, because as your chair, and you always want the respect. When you're a chair.
Wait, Mr.
You're a chair, Mr. Herrera. You expect them to inform you of who's going to be in the meeting.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
chair.
No, ma'am, I'm sorry. I was the chair of that committee, Ms. Garza.
It doesn't matter.
I
I have a
respect
right to be in
you,
any
and I
committee.
respect, I'm not saying you can't be in that committee. I never said you couldn't.
I was there.
It's nice to know that if I'm the chair of any committee, that at least I know who's going to be present.
What does it matter? I come to all the committees I want to come to.
You can come to any committee, but then if you would have been there, if I would have known that Ms. Science wasn't there, Ms. Garza, then it would have been a quorum, would it not?
I wouldn't have been here if there wasn't a quorum.
Well then, but
And
why wasn't I informed? I'm informed of everything else by the secretaries.
She let us know she was not coming.
She didn't let me know.
May I say that the
But it's very
day-
simple. It's very simple.
It is very simple. I should have been informed.
You
day
you
that I
have been
couldn't-
removed
I
from the
could-
committee
Excuse
because
me.
we could not have a quorum.
I came, I was available Monday at noon, I was available Tuesday at noon. The meeting was changed to Tuesday afternoon, and at that time, I had a previous commitment. I told Claudia that I was not going to be present. I didn't have time to call the committee members, but I did ask Claudia to let you all know that I could not be there.
And that's
So-
fine, Ms. Science. I just thought that, we have had communication between all three of us.
I don't know
And
what
that
the
day,
big thing
I
is,
just-
Mr. Leon. I really
It's just out
don't
of
know.
respect, Ms. Garza.
No.
You want respect, respect is also given. That's all I'm asking. But you all can decide whatever you all want.
Well, it does,
You
the
can
board
go
will
ahead and
decide
read
whatever we
Mr.
want.
Leon.
Matt, I continue with my presentation.
Sure,
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead.
So therefore,
Let me ask a question if I may.
yes,
Could this audit subcommittee not be incorporated into the work of our audit that we contract every year? Does it have to be something different?
it has to be something different because if we were to hire a CPA, the cost would be prohibitive.
Not to hire them, to incorporate it as a sub into the contract we already have.
Right, but the scope we want from them will take hours and hours and hours at $250 an hour.
Well, Mr. Herrera, but at one point
Excuse me,
here.
Mr. Leon, please.
Oh.
Will you please allow Dr. Zavaleta to
Go ahead,
finish?
Dr. Zavaleta.
I'm simply saying that if we have our auditing firm do this, to me at least, it's more credible. Not that I doubt our committee, but, it's more substantial in terms of what they do. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the committee's not going to do this. I mean, the actual work that we need is going to be done by a professional that we, as a board, choose. We're not going to do any of
But
this.
we could choose the
Right.
same audit firm, the same firm that does our audit.
We could do that. We could, if we want to audit monetary and financial transactions, we could do that. But the CPA does not have the educational and procedural background and education and the ways colleges
I
function
understand.
to do this. We have a CPA that does the audit for us. But,
What is the purpose of this audit?
well, we go back
Other than
to,
what we do already?
we go back to a year ago in which we had a vice president, an assistant vice president leave, and we had a big, I'm trying to find a word. We could not, we had a big disorganization and non-accountability of program funds. They weren't credited to the right programs. And we want to clear that. We wanted to clear that. That was the purpose of this audit that we wanted to do. In the time that this came about, it has evolved into something that will do the financial part, but what we really need, I don't think there is, and I'm safe to say there's no mismanagement or someone taking monies that don't belong to them. What we do have is monies that were not credited, times that were not credited to the funding sources, and we need to straighten all that before we can
I
continue.
understand that.
Mr.
So
Herrera,
it's,
will you allow Mr. De Leon to speak, please?
Did the board, the
Mr.
full
Dodd.
board,
Sir,
Give me 1 second, please.
Dr. Zavaleta, so the reason why we wanted to do this was because I met with the CFO, Dr. Figueroa, and she only corrected and worked so hard to correct 1 year of missteps, right? So Mr. Herrera, at one point, I don't know if he remembers, that he wanted us to go back a few years to make sure that the audits were actually done for those years, because we don't know the missteps of the past 3 years, because Dr. Figueroa only worked on one. The scope of work is so big that there's no way that she can do that.
I understand.
So that's why I'm confused at what is being proposed here, but at the end of the day, the board decides what you all want to do. But there is missteps, and only 1 year was corrected. And for federal and state funding, if we get audited, Dr. Figueroa, am I right or am I wrong? If the state comes and audits us 3 years and there's missteps for those years, do we have to return money back? I'm just putting it out there.
Mr. Delon, yes, if there were to be any grants, but the grants that we have, they did not have any of the missteps. It was on the allocation of the resources within cost centers.
But you only did the workforce. You didn't do any of the other programs. Am I correct?
Correct, I worked on the workforce.
I mean,
'cause
you
that
know,
was
Dr.
my-
Figueroa, when I sat down with you and I spoke to you, and I said, Dr. Figueroa, I do funding for federal and state, and I do grants too, so there is some missteps that have not been corrected because you didn't go back 3 years. You only did one.
Yes, sir,
correct?
I only did
So
1
I'm just
year
putting it
for-
out there. I'm not pinpointing fingers. I thought Mr. Herrera was in agreement that we wanted to correct those missteps. But if you all don't want to, I'm fine. It's whatever the board decides.
That's right.
how did you figure out that we don't want to do this?
Because you're not even saying how far back you want to go, Mr. Herrera. And the thing is, I didn't see this. None of us has seen
You weren't in the meeting, you left.
You left
Again.
again.
You
Again.
left.
And I already said why I left.
Well,
So present your items and see if the board
I
wants
already
to do it.
did.
Okay,
Madam Chair,
yes, sir.
did the board discuss this committee and vote on it, the creation of this committee, and appoint members to this committee?
I did back when we had the issue.
Excuse me?
At the board meeting, I had assigned because
In November.
I had assigned
Ms. Chair.
Mr. Herrera, Mr. De Leon, and I decided, since Ms. Science was interested in this, that I would assign her as well, and I would stay out of the committee unless
Okay, but
one of them
my
couldn't come.
question is-
Then I wouldn't create a quorum.
But it was not voted or approved by the creation was not approved by this board, so it's not on the record. Is it on the record?
We never approved
Well,
the
that's my
committees.
question.
The committees have been assigned by the chair as per your instruction when we started.
My instruction.
Remember when we started the committees?
Committees.
So there's no local policy it has been precedence, the chair appoints the committees.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Thank you.
So,
it's out there, we vote, we take a vote. I'll have a motion,
I would,
or do you want to just, information? What do you want to do, Mr. Herrera?
no. No, we need to do this.
So, I have a question. For clarification purposes, option 1 means we hire someone here.
Right.
And option 2 is we are going to go to a RFP.
RFP.
Okay,
and
a process, a whole process.
a process.
Okay.
And the committee will meet 3 or 4 more times.
And then you bring it up to the board and we
Exactly.
vote.
So my motion is to approve option 2 and authorize President Rodriguez to start submitting or putting out an RFQ and RFP to get us to where we want to be on this item.
I second it.
I have a motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Mr. Leon. Discussion?
Yes, for the record, I am very familiar with federal and state funding. So just so you all know, if I'm not in the committee, I'm fine with it, but, just putting it out there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Executive session. The board will not convene an executive session as provided by Government Code Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session. Back from executive session. Do I have an executive session motion?
Yes, I move that the board approve the salary schedule for fiscal year 2023-2024 as discussed in executive session.
A motion, Mr. De Leon.
Second.
Second by Mr. Herrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. We done?
Meetings?
Next meeting?
Next meeting is,
Sometime.
March. Those motions.
The potential board meeting for the insurance.
Oh, that's right. Mhm. When are we doing that? Do we have a date for special call meeting?
Dr. Figueroa, are you expecting the feedback from the insurance?
Yes, sir. As of right now, I don't have that item ready. Today is the 21st, so hopefully by next week, we'll know more and can start looking into a date.
How much time do we need for a special call meeting? 42 hours?
72 hours.
72 hours? Just let us know.
Yes, ma'am. As soon as I know, we'll relay that information.
Okay. So the next meeting is Thursday, March the 28th, 2024, 5:30, and then April 18 at 5:30, if it's okay with everybody. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion, Mr. De Leon, second, Mr. Herrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Stand adjourned.